Okay, so it's been quite a while, and I know this looks nightmarish, especially to some technicians out there. I just want to say right away, this is not demonstrative of a final product I would ever do for anybody, for the public. This is the madness that I do at home, a lot of tack soldering. This has been rebuilt like 800 times. Relatively low noise though, especially with the ground scheme and everything. Yada yada yada. But this is a video I wanted to do for a while, and I thought today would be great since it's kind of rainy and dreary outside. Unfortunately, I do not have a nice hot cup of coffee with me, so I suggest that you have one with you. It's always better to watch amp videos with a nice hot cup of coffee or a beer. Anyway, I digress. So, going to be kind of a long-ish video, hopefully. We'll see. Maybe I'll just get burned out from hearing myself talk and play. So anyway, this is a circuit that I threw together, and I thought it sounded pretty cool, especially, if you're fans of like Boston. I think Boston meets Randy Rhoads. All right. But anyway, it's pretty comparable to the Colossus of Rhodes mod that I did quite a while ago, but this has a ton of other changes in it as far as the tone stack and some of the variability of the switches. I'm going to point out, let's see, I think this one here does not do anything. I just left it because I was experimenting with something else. And just to give you a break from my voice, I'll quickly play just a quick riff here. I thought I would kind of keep the volume low to show you kind of some bedroom volume tones just for fun. And there's no clipping diodes. This is all tube. So. And this is also one of the first mods that has made me want to play a half step down recently. I've been listening to Rats Out of the Cellar pretty religiously recently, and it's pretty interesting tonally, and I feel like there's not a lot of albums from the 80s that kind of sound exactly like that, and there's a lot of information online as to what was being used, whether it was the front end of a Marshall Plexi being pushed with a Furman PQ3 and maybe a Boss Super Overdrive. But anyway, or a JCM 800 being boosted with a Fender Champ, which is kind of interesting as well. I thought about maybe designing a circuit around that concept at some point, so like a 5-gain stage JCM 800. But anyway, I also have been feeling like there's not a lot of videos that are just talking about some of these cool Marshall mods, and I'm worried that there's a lot that'll get lost to time, so I just figured I would throw this into the mix, especially if you're a player at home and you want to make your 50-watt or 100-watt amp sound a little bit more usable. So I'll just kind of go through everything, and this tone might not be for everybody, and there's some kind of wacky stuff going on, and I'm bleeding off a lot more treble frequency than I thought I would. So, maybe not quite as dynamic as what a lot of other people would like, but I thought it was really, really interesting. So here we go. I'm playing my Jackson Ivory Star, which, let's see, I'll bring it around here. I can. No, I can't get in the frame. Yeah, it's modded, so I put a little 3-way toggle switch on it, which is basically just putting 2 different value capacitors to ground on the hot side of the pickup before it goes to the amplifier. So it's really interesting, and I'll demonstrate how that affects the guitar tone as well, and I'll tell you what the values are and everything. Okay. Thank you to everyone who is still sticking around for all this. You know, maybe put a movie on in the background like I do. You know, I'm watching From Russia with Love currently. Good rainy day movie. Good amp soldering movie. Anyway, so we have the input here, which is kind of interesting. I was actually looking at the Boss Super Overdrive and the Silver Jubilee. And so I inserted a .033 filter cap as part of the input before it goes to the grid of V1. And I don't know if there's a huge difference. Maybe it makes it sound a little bit more mid-rangey and boxy, kind of more like an overdrive or a boost pedal with a maybe 800 or 100K frequency. Then from there, it is a 0022 filter coupling cap with a 82K, I believe, is what I ran out of 68K. A little noise there, that's fine. And so that is going to V1 here, which is got a lot of wacky stuff going on. So it's actually from that 82K going to this potentiometer. It's a 680 picofarad cap, and then I have another 680 picofarad cap coming out of the input of that with a 1 meg resistor to ground and a 250 picofarad cap to ground as well to bleed off more high end. And this is a 100K plate load resistor with 1,000 picofarad treble bleed cap on that. Again, pretty wacky stuff. At least I think so anyway. Normally I wouldn't kill off so much dynamic, but then from there, hope this pointing isn't, confusing. Anyway, we go to this grid, and then we come out of we have a 120K plate load resistor there, and we have a 0047 filter cap with a 470K and a 680 picofarad filter cap, and then it's coming into this gain knob, which I called hair, even though I don't have any. I think it's pretty funny. Anyway, and then we have a 3-way bright switch selector, which is a 0047 film polyester. No, it's a regular film. Oh my goodness, what kind of material? I can't remember the material. Tantalum. There we go. Oh, sorry if I yelled into the microphone. And then we have a 0022 polyester cap as another bright option. And I forgot to say too, the cathode resistors on these first two are actually 3K. This is a 0.47 microfarad. This is a regular old 0.68 Jupiter, which I have here, and here. Then, and I'll demonstrate obviously how these controls interact, but I'm just kind of outlining this whole circuit for anyone who's interested. This third cathode is a 4.5K resistor, which is bypassed with a 0.47 microfarad cap. And then just for fun, I put in parallel a 0.68 Jupiter cap as well. And we heard some of that, but I'll roll that all the way back. Yeah. So yeah, that's gain on max. And actually, I really like the way the gain sounds when it is on max for that first stage. And then, all right, we won't play yet. We'll get there. Let's see, what else? We've got a 0022, the orange guy, the orange drop. And then it's a 470K resistor with a 1 meg resistor to ground. Regular old 100K with a combined total of 750 picofarad bleeding to ground as well. And then we have a regular old 820 ohm resistor with a 0.68 bypass cap. And again, thank you for everyone for watching this video, and if you're really interested, again, I just want to put any kind of information out there for anyone who's curious about modding your own amplifier. Highly recommend it. We are kind of taking a little hiatus on amp mods right now, a lot of flux in our lives. So anyway, moving on. Coming into the tone stack from a almost regular old cathode follower circuit, I just for fun threw 120K plate load for that cathode follower there, and then coming into a regular old tone stack Marshall style circuit with a couple of value changes. Again, I analyzed a lot of, or used a lot of different programs to analyze some circuit frequencies, and I have a 680 picofarad there as well with a 33K tone slope. And then these two switches are actually going in between a 0.01 filter cap and a 0.022, and same on this side. And then a regular pre-phase inverter tone stack going into a 2-buffered effects loop, which is a is a pretty simple one, and regular old phase inverter. And then I'll just carefully move this camera a little bit. I might get a little wobbly. Oh, so sorry everybody. And then we have over here a regular presence cap, 0.1 microfarad with a 5K to ground. Oh geez, sorry everybody. Okay, I'll stop moving everything because the thing is getting a little wonky there. But now I'll explain while I play and kind of demonstrate some different things. Okay, so let's gain on max. Okay, and then let's see, we have the 0.047 in right now, so we'll take out all bright caps. So this is not a huge difference. I feel like it kind of just yields an even better vowel sound. Quack, 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 quack. Because boosting those mid-range frequencies and then bleeding off the high end and then keeping that preamp really tight as far as the filter caps, it gives you that kind of squawking mid-range, which again is not to everybody's taste, but as somebody who loves the hair metal in the 80s, I think it's awesome. Especially if you're using lower tunings, I think it stays tight, so that's why it kind of reminds me of what's that? Tell me down below in the comments if you remember this riff. Yeah, really fun to play. And again, if you're missing that extreme high-end frequencies associated with Marshall, just take off some of the treble bleed caps. I think it's just as easy as that, really. And I think, again, by taking off some of that high-end, keeping a lot of that mid-range, the guitar sounds really cool. I mean, you can hear my strings, you can hear my voice really well. Obviously, it's not very loud. And I'm sure as we turn it up it'll sound cooler, as always, and it's a tube amp. But I'll show you again some of the sculpting that's going on. So in the tone stack I have a 0.022 selected, so let's go. This is 0.01. which gives that a little bit more of a low mid frequency hump as it comes into the tone, or as it leaves the tone stack rather. And that sounds really cool too, and that's some of the basis for the Colossus of Rhodes mod. And then on this side, because I'm a fool and I swapped it over, so we actually have a .022 selected. So now we'll go to .01. And by shaving off some of those other low-end frequencies, again, it's kind of the same thought process that would be going into a post EQ for the album. Because again, I'm not going for the exact same circuits. I'm going for what it sounds like to your ear coming out of whatever speaker you're listening to at home. So when you plug into the amp, I really want it to sound like what you think the record sounds like. And I thought this sounded kind of out of the celery. I thought that was kind of funny. Anyway, let's see. What else do we have going on? All right, so get a little bit more neat. Some hollow mids, but I kind of like it. Okay, now over here, let's bring the .68 cap in. Just feels a little bit meatier, especially if you... Anyway, it sounds really cool, I think, especially for lead work. And then it's very subtle, but especially if you max it out. And I ran out of switches, so it's kind of just easier to show you with the knobs that I have. But that brings a 0022 cap in line with, or in parallel with the points. With a 680 picofarad cap on the second coupling circuit. So a combined total of 2,800 nanofarad, .0028. So that also sounds cool. So here we go. So even more exaggerated mids. And it's really aggressive, I realize, because I have the presence max, so I just rolled it back to noon. That's pretty lush. So let's just keep that tone in mind for a second while I explain another thing that I was doing, which is, let's see if I can angle that a little bit better. Oh! Well, I already went over everything, so now there's the outside for everybody. You can barely see it through my blinds. Okay. I apologize to everyone who's getting motion sickness from this. So the switches. All right, so we have a double O. Let me double check here. Yeah, that's a 0022 or 0047. My mistake. Going to ground, and I will show you that right now. Pushes you into Brian May territory, and I'll just go back to none, and you can hear how the feedback changes even, and especially the vowel sound. So this is again still 0047. Or if you're into King Crimson, that sounds kind of like that to me. It rolls off. A lot of pick attack. Now we'll have, all right, just so we remember. That's none. And then here is 0022. Pretty significant difference, and you know, if you go back to playing some of those rat riffs, you know, that's a fair amount of sustain. Again, really low volume, and I'm not using any 220K or 330K plate load resistors, as I feel it maybe compresses it a little bit too much, and I feel like you lose a little bit of that note definition. But I will also say that I am running this right now at just a little over 110 volts, which if you're running at standard wall voltage, it will definitely stiffen the feel and response of the amp. I highly recommend getting a Amp RX brown box, which is what I'm using right now. And you can tailor how much, you can both see how much current is being generated, and you can see what's coming out of your outlet, and then you can make sure that you're setting a low enough voltage for when it gets to your amp, to, you know, help with the longevity of the tubes and how hard your power transformer is working, because these are really old circuits, and I'm sure many of you who are following the channel know that. But anyway, these are all things that I wanted to share with people, and we have tons of other circuits that I've done, but this one in particular, why don't you just throw it together at home and then see if you like it. It sounds really cool. And it kind of combines a lot of different ideas. Oh, and I forgot to say too, the negative feedback is once again 120K plate load off of the 8 ohm tap, for anyone who's curious. And I'm using, see, every tube has its own filtering stage as well. So it's a 47, and that's a 16 on V1, and that's obviously V2. Anyway, or V2A for that one. Okay. Anyway, thank you so much to everybody who is watching and who follows, and I want to say I hope you're all having a great day, and I hope that this video is at least a little bit educational. Oh, and by the way, those filter cap mods for the on the guitar here are super safe to install yourself, so long as you know how to use a soldering iron without burning yourself or burning your potentiometer or the wires. And you can do that at home for $4 worth of components. So, and it's really cool. You don't have to buy a pedal. You don't have to boost anything. It's literally just a cap to ground. And actually, let's see if I can actually get it in front of the camera there. Yeah, ugly as it is right there. You can see the 0047, and then you can see the 0022, and they're just grounded with everything else in the back of the potentiometer. Yeah, anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you have a great day.